So, what are you scripting? What new identity are you constructing? And more importantly, what steps, what actions, what behaviors, and what thought processes are consistent with that new identity? I am having an identity shakeup. And basically what that means is, using cinematic language, I am recasting some people and some things in my life. Hi, Kev. Oh, I know, Kevin. I know. We have to. Kevin has been a positive, powerful force for me to do this one particular project that I have been sitting on for a number of years. So I know it's time. Let's talk. Hi, Joshua. So back to my recasting. My invitation for you is to examine, look into your life and see who and what might be miscast. Who and what is taking priority, taking center stage. And it may not be for your best evolution and highest good. I think it's important. Those things matter. It's important to take stock, take inventory. And I think when you are stepping into your greatest yet to be, there are going to be people and certain identities that don't come along with that. And that's okay. You know, I'm thinking of series regulars. You know, series regulars are the people that we follow week after week for the life of a television series. We're invested. And then there are guest stars, guest cast members. And guest cast members are meant to come in for that particular episode, or sometimes a few episodes, and they're there to move the story along. But they're not meant to stay for the life of the show. And I think, more importantly, there is a role you've cast yourself in, and it's meant to exit. It's time for you to move from co-star to guest star to series regular. And I mean that metaphorically, where you are owning a greater space in your own life and living out your intended purpose. But back to those who are guest stars versus series regulars. I have come to understand in the last couple of months of my life that there are people who you think may be a part of your full story, and they're not. But I also leave space for recurring guest stars. I've done a few projects where I come in, I guest star, and I leave, and then the writers bring my character back. And for some people, and in some ways, there will be those that do come back because your story is not complete. And I guess the power of the pen of discernment is knowing those who should return and knowing when it's the end and the credits roll. And I'm sharing this because, well, I'm not ready to share that yet. I'm not ready to share that yet, but I will. I've been semi-vulnerable and transparent with you guys. So, hi, Nikita. I know you can relate, Nikita. I actually just did a talk today, a very powerful talk on legacy, and referenced a lot of our dancing days, Brat Pack days. So I am feeling very reflective. And I have on some makeup right now, and I like it. Shout out to Maya who did my makeup. But I've really been examining what it's like to face life with no makeup, with no pretense, no concealer, and just to be vulnerable, naked, with the freckles and the pimples. So if that calls to you, I do have a series, Life Unscripted. It's kind of a big step for me, growing up in front of the camera It may not mean much to you, but for me personally, it's kind of a big step to show this part of me. But I think there's an invitation too for you, because I think in some ways we all wear makeup. We all wear the mask, a little concealer. And it's really about exploring where you can show up more authentically, more yourself. Take it or leave it, you know. Those who are meant to be a part of your cast, they'll show up and they'll be on time and they'll hit their mark. And those who aren't won't. And that's okay. I've been on here for a while, just kind of downloading my thoughts. Let me see, what are you saying? Hi, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony, so much for my powerful one sheet. Michael, are you here? Hi. Michael, oops. Next I'm going to show you guys. I don't want to do that yet. Isn't that beautiful? Vegas for athletes. Hi, Troy. So I am on the board of advisors for an amazing organization called Vegas for Athletes. And you were just on the big screen. And what's so wonderful about Vegas for Athletes is that it really looks at cardiac health and cardiac risk in our young athletic legacy building kids. And they do testing. And there's been quite a few that had undetected, undiagnosed heart conditions. And because of Vegas for Athletes, it's now come to the forefront. So we hear a lot of young people expiring on the football field, soccer field, basketball, just collapsing because no one was aware that there was a pre-existing heart condition. So it's something I'm very passionate about. Vegas for Athletes is incredible. I'm happy to be a part of it. And it means a lot to me. This is story time, so we're going to have story time right now. When I was growing up, I remember down the street, there was a man on the floor, well, ground. And he had been jogging. And he fell over, and I remember the emergency technicians pumping his chest, pumping his chest, and pumping his chest. And finally, at one point, they cocked his head to the right, and he expelled. He expired. And so his bodily fluids came out of his body. And I remember standing there on the sidewalk as a little girl watching this. And it's almost as if I could feel or sense his spirit leaving his body. At least that's what my young mind felt, sensed. And it had such a tremendous impact on me. I remember, it was the 80s then, so he had some, how my dad used to wear, they used to wear the socks, they would come all the way up. And he had on, I think, like some yellow shorts. And I feel like he had a little headband on. And he was my friend's father. My friend lost his father that day. And I lost some of my innocence in that I realized, wow, life is fragile. And here he was running, and now he's gone. Now, of course, I don't know the full history. I don't know what pre-existings he may or may not have had. Samuel. But I always thought it was fascinating that if there was something in his heart or in his health related to, yeah. So anyway, I am so surprised I am on here this long just talking to you. What do you say ha to, Joy? Hi, Fair for Justice. Love the freckles, thank you. Love them too. You can't see them right now because I've got makeup on, but I do love my freckles. So I'm not going to stay on here much longer, but hopefully there were some words that pierced you and inspired you or thought, made you think or see something a little differently. Motives. Thank you. And what I was saying, Anthony, is Anthony did a wonderful speaker sheet for me. One sheet. Church socks. Yeah. No, they weren't church socks. They were, they were athletic socks. But my dad used to wear them all the way up to his knees. He would have his members only jacket on and his little, aviator glasses. So Okay. So while I have this God light, I always say God is the greatest DP, and my makeup done, I'm probably going to take some photos. So I'm about to do a little mini photo shoot, y'all. So I will see you later. Okay, bye.